Olá, eu sou Robson Sereno, facilitador certificado de Access Consciousness. E hoje eu estou ao lado da Marilyn Bradford. Ela é facilitadora certificada de Access Consciousness e ela tem uma classe especial para tratar sobre as drogas adicções, de tudo. Álcool, tabaco, maconha ou qualquer outro tipo de droga, lícita e ilícita. E olha que maravilha, ela publicou esse livro que provavelmente será traduzido para o português e aí vocês terão acesso. Mas vocês podem encontrar esse livro maravilhoso diretamente na loja do Access. Eu vou conversar agora com Marilyn sobre drogas de uma forma geral para que a gente possa ter uma maior, digamos assim, abordagem sobre esse tema à luz dos Access, tá bom? Mary, please introduce yourself to Brazilian people.
Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm very happy to be speaking to Brazilian people. My name is Marilyn Bradford, and before Access Consciousness and the tools and right recovery, I was an alcoholic, I had an eating disorder, I was depressed. Then I came to Access Consciousness. I started using the tools with my clients who were also, I'm a therapist, also very much addicted. They came for drugs, they came for gambling, they came for alcohol, and they came for relationship addiction and being perfect addiction and even things like sports addictions. And after I started using the Access tools, they were getting so much better. It was amazing. So I approached Gary Douglas, the founder of Access, and asked if we could create a program for using the Access tools with addiction, and that's how Right Recovery for You was born. And I can tell you that after using those tools, I have no compulsions to drink or to diet terribly. I'm never depressed. I'm happy all the time. It's crazy.
Oh, wonderful.
So this stuff really does work, and I've had many people who have come and worked with me or come to a class, started using these tools, and their whole life can change, and fairly quickly too.
Oh, wonderful. Can you give us some example for the gamble or the
Sure.
alcohol or whatever?
Yeah, I had a client, and he was not an Access person. He came because he had an addiction to cocaine. And he said, I've spent all my money on cocaine. I don't have a lot, but I want to do maybe 6-8 sessions. I said, great.
Wow.
Yeah.
So amazing.
It's amazing. And literally after 4 sessions, he quit using cocaine.
Oh my gosh.
And now still he tells me, this was about 8 years ago. He says, occasionally I'll do it, Marilyn, but I don't have to go do it.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
That's choice now.
Yeah, using choice, and that's what these tools of Right Recovery for You do, is they put you in a place, a space of choice. I had another young man who's been in Access quite a while, but he was diagnosed as an alcoholic at something like 17 because he went to college and he drank too much.
Yeah.
And they sent him to treatment, and they told him his whole life he'd have to be an alcoholic, and he'd have to say, my name is so-and-so John, and I'm an alcoholic. And he talked to, I think, his mom or Gary, who knew about me, and they said, call up Marilyn. So he did.
Oh,
and, he's testified actually in the last facilitators class. He said one half-hour conversation changed everything, because I realized it was choice, and I realized I hadn't been me. And that's so much of what I do, is empower people to come back to themselves.
Oh my
because
gosh.
when you're really you, you don't need alcohol and drugs and being the prettiest person or it's all just a choice, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, but as long as you're following what everybody else says and who you have to be and you should do this, then it's like, you know, none of that works for me, and I don't know what to do, so I'm going to escape.
Yeah.
You know, and also a lot of the people I found who do alcohol and drugs, they're really creative, amazing, different people. And I think all over the world, it's not okay to be different.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And do you have some program or class that you can maybe go to Brazil to do?
Oh, I would love to. I've done classes all over the world.
Okay.
And I'm so excited that maybe I can come to Brazil. We were thinking of maybe starting with a Zoom or a teleclass.
Exactly, of course.
But I would love to come in person and give some classes.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And do you have some example for marijuana? Because in Brazil, people love
marijuana. Is big. Well, I do. I mean, I work the same with marijuana in many ways, but a lot of what I do is I ask people, what does it do for you?
Okay.
What's right about it? And they're like, what do you mean? Everybody says it's terrible. I'm like, well, it must do something or you wouldn't be using it.
Yeah.
So we start looking at things like, it helps me deal with the stress of my family.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And then I talk about things like, well, do you get that when you let marijuana take over your life, you're not present and you're not in charge?
Wonderful.
And that's what people don't get. Anytime you let an addiction take over your life, you've made that greater than you.
Wonderful.
Yeah, who do you want to make greater than, what do you want to make greater than you? There's no one greater than you. But as long as you make drugs greater than you, marijuana greater than you, you give up more and more and more of you and more and more and more of your choice until you're really nothing and marijuana is everything. Is that how you want to run your life? What if Right Recovery for You could show you tools and ways that you could be in charge of your life?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Then you wouldn't need to make anything or anyone greater than you, because you would be enough. And what happens when you take marijuana over and over and over again, not the first time, not the second time, but when you make it in charge of your life, you begin to diminish you. And all of a sudden you're not enough for anything. And the drug is doing everything. I don't know about you guys. There was a time when I did that with alcohol, and then I realized, wait a minute, I'm a pretty cool person. And I have lots of talents and abilities. Why would I make alcohol greater than me?
Exactly.
Why do we make anyone or anything greater than us? Mainly because we don't have good information and we don't have good tools.
Yeah. Can I talk a little bit more? When you put some drugs in your body, you open the door for the entities.
Yes, you do.
Sometimes it's so big.
Yes.
And is it not enough to, okay, come on, get out and I stay my life? No.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Sure, because when you do drugs, you basically put a vacant sign on your body and your being. You're somewhere else. It's like a rent house. You have rent houses, like people rent? Yeah. You basically become a rent house. And any entity that's flying by, any spirit, anything that doesn't have a body is like, oh, look, a vacant house, I think I'll go there.
Wow.
And then they start running your life.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, there's really no room for you. There's the drugs, there's the spirits, and you're like Nowheresville.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a form of slow death. You know?
Maybe this is one of the most of issues that people don't give up the drugs, because there are a lot of entities in your body that can stop you.
Well, nothing can really stop you, but a lot of people don't have the awareness of the entities, and they don't have the tools to get rid of them.
Okay.
And you also really have to have the desire to be you.
Of course.
And find out that you're really a much cooler person than maybe you've been told you are.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so it really takes a, you know what, I'm going to be in charge of my life, I'm worth it, and now I have the tools and the information to do that.
So wonderful. It's so very cool.
It's very cool.
Thank you so much for your interview, and I would like to the end of this interview, can you say some word for Brazilian people that invite him or them to stay with us in totally awareness?
Yes. Please remember that you are a gift to the world. You may have been taught or told verbally or non-verbally that you weren't a gift, that you needed to conform, you needed to be like everybody else, you needed to believe this and that. But there's a genius within you. There's an absolute spark of genius. And I would love for us to get together and ignite that spark and find those places and spaces and talents and abilities that you have that you're not even aware of, that you can bring out to contribute to the world, but also to have the life you desire. You know, because the one thing that I found, if people are on drugs and doing addiction, they're not happy.
Exactly.
Let's be happy. Let's find the you, work with us, find the you, that is just a happy, joyful being and doesn't have to ever make anything greater than you.
Oh, thank you so much, Mary. You are
Thank
so
you.
amazing. Thank you so much. Ok, vejo
Bye.
vocês no próximo vídeo. Vem comigo!